This is the story of the boat that just wouldn't quit. First built in the swinging 60s, got burned bad in the 70s, then born again in Canada, and you can still sail one yourself across entire oceans all these decades later. Financially sink a boatyard, if you will, crash the entire economy, if you must, or cut to the chase and torch the moulds. But you can't keep a good man or boat down. Welcome to Small Sailboat Big Water. My name's Mitch. Let's learn everything we can about the Contessa 26. First built in 1966 by Jeremy Rogers in Lymington, England. From the drafting table of David Sadler, the lines to his design were based off of the extremely popular Nordic folk boat, full-keel ocean-going boats. In just 3 short years, they laid up 350 hulls and proved that this little ship could take a real beating offshore. By 1969, the molds were shipped across the Atlantic to J.J. Taylor & Sons in Toronto, a company that had been building wooden boats since 1904. The Contessa design helped them jump headfirst into the fiberglass building era. Following economic pressures in the UK and just a general downturn in boat sales, Jeremy Rogers Limited, the original builder of the Contessa 26 and the 32, went bankrupt in 1981. And the original Contessa 26 molds were lost in a factory fire. The rights to build the designs were sold to a company that just didn't want to build the boat, they wanted to control the name, especially in the US market. Meanwhile, up in Canada, J.J. Taylor had already been building the Contessa 26 under license for over a decade. When the new rights owner started swinging the legal hammer, the Taylor team took a hard look at the fight ahead. Lawyers, courtroom, wasted time, and just said forget it. So they changed the name. The Contessa 26 quietly became the J.J. Taylor 26. The Canadian boats were built from the same deck and hull molds until 1983. After hull number 300, the 26-footer has an updated deck, giving it more headroom, better ventilation. The addition of an anchor locker at the bow moved the location of some tanks, added a teak and holly sole, and swapped out the cast iron ballast for pure lead. Whatever happened to that original builder, the one from the United Kingdom? Well, after the collapse of that original company, Jeremy Rogers did something most don't. He started over. He didn't chase mass production. He didn't try to rebuild the past. He got back to work with his hands. Quietly, deliberately. He didn't focus on the 26, the good old boat that he lost. He focused on the great boat that he still had, the Contessa 32. From the ashes of bankruptcy and a burned out boatyard, he built again, one hull at a time, either building new Contessa 32s by commission or bringing the old legends back to life with full restorations. He wasn't just building boats anymore, he was building a resurrection, proof that some things, if they're built right the first time, are worth saving. Let's dive right in. Length overall, 25.5 feet, that's 7.77 meters. Length at the waterline is only 20 feet. Due to her long overhangs, only 6.1 meters. She has a narrow beam of only 7.5 feet, only 2.29 meters wide. And this boat will need 4 feet of water to operate. It has a draft of 1.22 meters. The hull is made of solid hand-laid fiberglass, which encapsulates a long, full keel with a slight cutaway in the forefoot. This boat displaces 5,400 pounds of water. It weighs 2,449 kilograms, 2,300 pounds of which is ballast, 1,043 kilograms. Originally was cast iron and then switched to lead. There have been comments made about this boat concerning water intrusion into the fiberglass below the waterline, resulting in hull blisters. remedied with an epoxy barrier. It's not often the case, but with the Contessa 26, the rudder is maybe the most beloved design feature of this boat. This rudder is big, and it's hung from the keel and the reverse transom, and it also has a metal skid plate along the bottom, which is called the rudder shoe. This powerful rudder is controlled by a tiller that reaches over an aft lazarette, so the tiller is taking up very little space in the cockpit. The UK-designed Contessa 26 has a slightly shorter cockpit than the Taylor 26. The more traditional tight layout designed for offshore use, small enough to handle flooding, functional for coastal cruising. The cockpit on the Taylor 26 is slightly longer by a few inches, more open. The Contessa 26 has larger cockpit drains, built with just a little more offshore sailing in mind. Just a quick glance at this boat, your eye lands on the companionway hatch. It's not your average slider. This one arches like a hobbit door from an English fairy tale. It's curved and cozy and unmistakably old world. The solid companionway hatch on the Contessa and Taylor 26 is built for a bad day offshore, but without the benefit of a raised bridge deck. Make sure you keep the lower hatch boards in to stop the cockpit from downflooding the cabin. Moving forward, deck core materials always stirs debate. Plywood, balsa, solid, or synthetic, and with these 26-footers, the answer isn't so simple. But it goes a little something like this. Most of the early Contessa 26 from Lymington were built with a solid fiberglass deck, especially the first ones they cranked out. They had a little bit too much flex, and some people retrofitted them with plywood cores. Some later UK boats may have had marine plywood core decks and flat areas for added stiffness. Most Canadian Contessa 26s used marine plywood core in the deck and coach roof, a mix of solid glass and high load areas, like around the winch mounts. Core rot remains a known concern in older examples. The renamed Taylor 26 likely retained a marine plywood core in the deck. However, the J.J. Taylor was known for better than average layup standards, and many Taylor 26s show less core intrusion than earlier boats. I found no confirmed shifts to synthetic cores during this boat's run. She's a masthead sloop that is deck-stepped, with her shrouds connected to through-hull interior chain plates. I've seen the chain plates relocated to the hull. Her primary power comes from a reported 304 square feet of sail area. That's 28.2 square meters, equaling a sail area to displacement number of 15.8. Sail area numbers get tossed around like fishtails. Every builder has their own way of measuring, and not all of them add up the same. The auxiliary power originally came from a Petter 6.6 diesel. Nowadays, best outfitted with a 1GM10 or an outboard. Let's step below. I like the idea of eliminating the sliding hatch, although in my climate, South Texas, I don't know how I would handle the sacrifice in ventilation. The later Canadian models, the Taylor 26, tried to remedy this problem with a larger forward hatch for improved airflow, as well as making the original fixed port lights opening ports, and sometimes in bronze. The old Contessa 26 was adapting to a new climate. The cabin of the Contessa 26 is narrow. The boat is only 7.5 feet wide. I'd say a fair trade-off for a 26-foot boat with a very low capsize screening number of 1.71. It has somewhere around 5 foot 8 inches of headroom, a V berth forward, 2 quarter berths aft, and a small galley and a marine head amidships. Interior layouts vary slightly over the years, but most feature teak trim and effective use of space. Storage is what it is. It has classic lighting and ventilation, which means minimal. She's designed more for offshore integrity than spacious comfort. So if that's where your priorities lie, the Contessa 26 might just be your ride. But if not, just hit that like and subscribe button and I'll bring you more reviews of small sailboats built for big water. My name's Mitch, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave me a comment and I'll see you next time.